Okay, thanks for tuning in, everybody. So we're going to get back onto one of my builds here. You guys seen from my last videos, I was going to do that HGP 407 Super Mod there, and I had bought, the American Force style wheels for it and all that, and I had the Toyota body on it. But I got this, I guess, wanting in my heart for a capo, Jeep, but they're just they're crazy money and they're out of stock right now. So in the meantime, this will fill the void, and so the body comes, as you've seen in the box that I had on my last video, all crushed up and everything, but the body was okay. It survived it. There were some tech tips I want to give you on how to put the body together. And I'm going to kind of go over it real quick before we get to the new bright body, because these are around the same money. I bought this whole thing. This is an 8th scale Jeep, so they call it the Trail Cat, and the detail's pretty good. So we'll get to this in a second. Okay. Now the putting this together, okay, was a little tricky. I do have some tips. Now the roll cage on this thing has aluminum bars on it all around here, okay, and the ones in between are plastic, and it has aluminum square stock in the very top, so you can see it up there. It goes in here, and the trick to putting this thing together, because you start, there's the directions really don't tell you how to do it. So I kind of seated the pants, figured it out. Now, in the front, these come in and they slide in top of the roof here. There's two little things that slide in there. And these here just lock in underneath. This is a 2-piece corner edge here. And you sandwich them together, and it has these little, like, insertions here that you clamp together and hold it in. Now on the back, if you get yours and you're trying to start the roll cage, these things are all loose and they're falling all over the place. What I did is, underneath this back bar here, there's 4 screws, okay, that crimp this 2 pieces together. Put the 2 center screws in first, then pry the edges open and snap the 2 back ones in, and then this one here is a long one that comes in there, and there's like a spacer for this thing to set down in. Put these in, okay, snap them together, and then put the 2 outer screws in. That way there, now you've started with a nice solid foundation to work your way forward. And these pieces here, like I say, there's these separate, and you snap them together, and you put this up in there. The center piece back here has like the speaker bar and all that stuff underneath it. Then you can kind of screw that together, snap the front 2 in, snap them together. Now your cage is all done, and you just put a couple of screws in each one of these. And in the front, there's two plastic studs that stick out of the windshield that they slide into. So what I did was, the windshield is one piece from here over and around. I got the windshield in and I snapped it to the roll cage, okay, and then there's 2 screws underneath here. You can screw it together, and then on the back there's a small foot back here that slides up in, and there's a big screw underneath that goes in, and these here, you slide them in, and there's a small screw that comes in from the bottom underneath, and these here just have a small peg that puts down in. Now you got to put your doors on, okay, before you can put the roof on, because when you put the doors in, if you can see in this little crack right here, try to get you a little close up on it, you'll see there's a pin right there that slides down into the hinge pins, and the same in the front slides down in. Then you set the whole cap on top of it, and it locks down it holds the pins in place for your doors so they don't fall out when you're rolling. Now, these doors only snap shut with a small little tab on each one. It snaps in. And they do have a full interior door pin. You have to glue them in. They don't screw in. And your door handles and stuff, they just snap in and you can glue them. What's cool, the mirrors are rubber. So that's nice. You're not going to knock them off. And your hood locks are rubber. But your fender wells that bolt on from underneath, very simple. I think there's 3 in the front and 2 screws in the back that mount them in. Are they're hard plastic. So I did go and buy the additional hood scoop and the Angry Grill cover for it, and I found out a couple of things about that. They give you a paper stencil, okay, for you. Now there's 2 holes on the outside here, and then there's 2 holes like over here that hold this thing in. You got to drill the holes in the body. So I cut the stencil out with a razor blade, and I set it up there and lined it all up because it sets right, there's a little round curved body line in there. And I set it in there and screwed, drilled the holes, and I go to put it on there, and the whole grill was off because the holes are off on the Xerox copy of the stencil they give you. And there's not much room in there to slot them and still get a screw head in there. And then the screws they gave me were too long to go through the body. So when you put the grill backing in here, it pushes the grill guard way out. So you got like a huge space in between that and the body. So I dug out some small screws. I altered the inside of the backing of the grill with the headlights on it and cut it out to give it room for the screw heads to stay. And the same for the hood scoop. There's 4 holes. They give you a stencil, you cut it out, and you center it on there and drill the holes. Well, guess what? The holes were off again on that to the left. So I had to ream them over. And the hood's not so bad. You can put washers on there if you got a hole too big, after you're trying to line it up perfect. And another thing I noticed is a little gap in the front here where it doesn't quite set down on the thing. So, but it is what it is. Like I say, it's no super high-end body, but it's really solid, and it's very, very well built, the body itself. So anyways, I had a brushless system in this with the extra speed drivetrain and all that, and it was a little too brutal for this thing because all it did was do wheelies and flip over. So it was a little out of control. So I switched it back to a brushed can 540 motor, a Tamayo one I had laying around, and I got the speed controller I bought off eBay. They were like 11 bucks, waterproof speed controller, and they're from China. But anyway, so it's almost there. It's getting, it's getting there. I got a little trailer hitch back here on the bumper add-ons I got. Now, one of the other things I did do, you guys probably got the opportunity to have a Home Depot near you or something. I went and I bought this this here at Tractor Supply, actually, because Home Depot, Tractor Supply have these little Christmas gift card holders. They're a little metal toolbox. They're like, I think this one was $1. So I stuck that back there, and I threw Scooby in there too as a a bonus just for the image. But other than that, it fits this. This is the SCX10 2 frame I got from RC Option Company on eBay for 50 bucks. So $51 it was. And it's 313 millimeter wheelbase on it. So everything is, everything fit together kind of well. I had taken, it comes with extra body mounts on the front. I don't know if you can see inside there. I mounted them right here because I had the Toyota HG B4L7 body on here. I just drilled a couple of holes in the in the bottom of the balance panel, bolted in the front, and in the back, the two body mount posts line right up with the 2 holes there. So I drew 2 holes through the grill, put some screws in from the back side forward. So you put it on, you slam it in, push it back, and then push it down on the pins in the back. I drilled a couple of holes there for the pins. So you can see I got the 2, push pins back here. So I'm going to take it off. You just pop this one out, pop that one out, lift the body up, and pull it off the front. So, but this thing's got some good articulation and stuff for, for what it is. It's pretty cool. I had it way overpowered before, and I wanted to kind of tone it down to give it more of a crawler aspect. And another thing I ran into was on the front here. The studs for your front constant velocity axles in the front, the studs are way long on the things. And I wanted to put the worn hubs on there that I got from RC 4-wheel drive, and anyways, they'd bottom out, so I had to put a nut on it, a lock nut first, then put these on it, because these, for some reason, these wheels loosened up really quick with the brushless system. So, but like I say, for a shallow build, didn't have a whole lot of money in the thing. You can come up with a pretty high-end kit, or rig if you want, if you know how to buy stuff right and put it all together, because this was a combination of many different parts, and it has the RC option rock crawler Yeti style axles in the thing. So it's like a Heinz 57 build. It's got T-Max shocks, because they're always my fail-safe go-to shock, because they're smooth and they're very reliable, and they very seldomly leak. So, and it's got locked diffs in the front and the rear. So I can't wait to take it out and see if I can break something. But I took all probably 8 cars with me when I went on my little road trip there. Usually when you're down in corn country down there, you got a lot of time, and I didn't get a minute rest down there to get the chance to play with my cars, because I was too busy doing other things. But okay, so now we're going to get to the New Bright Jeep. Now this was a whole complete kit. It was a very cheap, I think it was 69 bucks for this thing. And I only bought it for the body, which most RCers out there, that's what we do. Because these bodies that one was like $58 plus shipping, and this whole truck was 65 bucks free shipping. So, the bodies were basically the same. And the nice thing about the New Bright, you got a whole bunch of junk underneath that you can take out and sell, or you can use the tires on another project down the road. Now this whole thing was basically held on with 4 screws. We have 2 in the back, 2 in the front, and the whole body popped right off of it. And it's kind of a shell body. I mean, it's it's not as rugged as that one is, but I don't know, the detail is not bad. I was kind of impressed. I mean, if you look inside it, it's got the console and all that. It's missing the shifter, and it's missing any detail on the dash. And the roll cage is plastic. The mirrors are hard plastic, so that those are gonna exit the scene. Got these Nerf bars for doors that don't open, but they got a cool paint scheme on the thing. Now, when I put this on that, the wheels were in here, because now this is an 1/8 scale. And, it's like, so I know they make a 10th scale one that's almost exactly like this. I mean, so I don't know if they use the same body or not. Maybe if somebody had bought the 10th scale version, we can probably get a measurement off of it, because this one here comes up to be, from bumper to bumper, just about 20.5 inches I got here. And the wheelbase on this thing is around center to center on your fenders is about 350 millimeters. And so I thought, well, you know, I'll just put this on one of my HDP 407 things and just I'll have to stretch it out a little bit. And I, you know, for what it is, like I say, I mean, you know, everybody's going to want to cut these bumpers off in the front and get rid of these things here, and you know, probably get an aftermarket bumper like I have on that there in the front, the aftermarket with the hooks. That was my plan. And it's got a little fuel cell in the back, and like I say, it's got Jeep, so it is a licensed product. And the taillights ain't too shabby. I don't know if you can. They do have small holes in them there in the inside there where you can add additional LED lights to it if you want. And they got it on the headlights too in the back. So you have to drill them out because they're closed. They're not fully open. So anyway, I went to put this on my HDP 407 frame, and I realized that it was way too long. And so I had taken this here and set it on the HDP 407 and the bruiser frame. And the wheelbase on those is around 290 millimeters from center to center. A lot of people do the 313 stretch on it. It depends on, being that those were a two-piece body, it depends on, you know, you'll gain or lose a couple of millimeters on them Toyotas, like up there, because when you bolt them together, if there's any slop or anything in the front and the back, you know, you're going to gain a couple of millimeters or lose a couple of millimeters. So, but like I say, the two-door version of this would probably fit the HDP 407 without a problem. But if you want the four-door version, you're going to have to do the rear axle extension mod on it that everybody's doing out there, and you know, stretch it out a little bit and give you a little bit more length. A little bit more length on the bruisers is not a bad thing, because it you know, kind of keeps them a little bit more stable. It doesn't help the turning radius out much on the earlier versions with no diffs, but so, but that's that. So anyhow, like I say, you know, hope I shed some light on the differences of the bodies of the New Bright and the, I don't know who even makes this body, to be honest with you. Like, there's a bunch of sellers on eBay that sell them. So, you know, I mean, all you got to do is search 313 millimeter wheelbase Jeep, and about 50 of these that come up, they come in different colors: white, red, flat black, green, and blue, I believe. And I think I've seen a yellow one out there, but so, you know, then you just basically put them all together. And I was very impressed with the quality of this body. You know, and like I say, when you see, if you look at the video and you see the box it came in and it wasn't broken, that means it's going to take a good beating out on the trail. So, anywho, this is Denny. Like I say, I hope everything's cool with you guys out there. Everything's cool on my end. And keep running them, keep breaking them, and keep building them. So, anywho, I'll catch you later. Adios.